Herd Hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
I think arguably the most talented athletic team in the league is Seattle, and I'll put them at 10 because they have the most giveaways in the league. But they were going for a game-winning kick against the Rams in L.A., and they had 4 picks. They have the best point differential in the NFC. They don't have a real gap in their team other than the giveaways. JSN is the highest-graded receiver according to PFF. They've allowed the fewest sacks on offense. They got playmakers everywhere on both sides of the ball. They can run it with power, so if they get a lead, they can close out the clock. They make too many mistakes, but they are a great number 10 team that was going for a winning kick against the Rams. On a day on the road, they had 4 picks. Number 10, Seattle.
Number 9.
Again, Kansas City. I like them. They have the second most efficient scoring offense behind the Colts in pro football. They're not good on the road. They have struggled on the road because they're just not talented enough. Now that Chris Jones is not playing at an elite level, the defense isn't as intimidating. They're really good, and they've got a good coach. I don't think Mahomes right now is playing like Josh Allen. But again, I like their weapons. I like their team. If they beat Indy, I think they're a playoff team. I think this weekend's a big deal. I'm a little surprised they're a 3-point favorite. I guess the game's at home, but I have Kansas City at 9.
Number 8.
My coaching staff of the year in the NFL is San Francisco. I don't know how Robert Saleh's doing it. By the way, they're 7-0 when they hold their opponents under 25. But Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Jennings, here comes Ricky Pearsall. The band's back together. And the O-line has been better than I've given it credit for. Again, they're a little Christian McCaffrey dependent. Leads in yards, leads in carries, leads in catches. But they're now healthy, they're dangerous, and I think their coaching staff has been doing it with smoke and mirrors, and now they've got, like, elite players back.
Number 7.
Buffalo. They drive me crazy, but I will say this. They lead the NFL in offensive touchdowns, and they average 6.3 yards a play, which is second in the NFL, and I think that matters a lot. Josh Allen is playing at another level. Again, like San Francisco, they can be one-player dominant on offense. Don't trust their defense, but I really believe in all the years I've been doing Herd Hierarchy, the difference between Seattle and the number 1 team is about 4 points. I'll put them at 7.
Number 6.
I think the Colts would beat them if they played. Probably in Indy, maybe not in Buffalo. But again, it's the number 1 scoring offense. Only team in the league scoring on over 50% of their drives. They have the fewest punts in the NFL. They're off a bye. I think Kansas City's going to have their hands full. I buy them. Now, do I think Daniel Jones presents a ceiling? Absolutely. We're not in January. Today, right now, that's a top 6 roster in the NFL, and I said it last year, and I've said this about Cleveland. If you gave Cleveland a really good coach, go look at Cleveland's roster. They got dudes. They got a lot of dudes. Indy's roster is elite, and now they're getting competent plus quarterback play.
Number 5.
The Ravens. When Lamar plays, they're averaging 29 a game, 4-game winning streak since the Week 7 bye. Listen, their defense now is healthy and playing better. They have playmakers on both sides. Again, this Herd Hierarchy, we're doing it. It's November. It's not January. Do I trust them then? No. Their next 3 games, Jets, Bengals, Steelers. So the winning streak is going to continue. Don't take too much out of a close game against Cleveland. Number 1, Cleveland's defense at home is outrageous, and it was their 3rd straight road game. I like this team a lot. Baltimore 5.
Number 4.
But I think in a neutral field, I'd take the Patriots, the only undefeated team on the road, 3-1 against winning teams, an incredibly efficient team. Their defense in 9 straight games has held people to 23 points or under. Vrabel deserves credit. He went and spent almost $300 million in free agency, but he spent it on character guys, defense, tough guys, and physicality. They have an identity. They're a tough, physical team with a quarterback that's completing 72% of his throws. Efficiency wins post-Thanksgiving, New England 4.
Number 3.
I don't know what to do with Philly. They're not good when Lane Johnson's out. But they are 24-3 in their last 27 games, and they're just dynamite in one-score games. What are you going to say? Here's the thing that I like about them. They have the best interior D-line in the league, and it made a huge difference again this weekend against Detroit. You can't get 4th and 1 on them. They bat down passes constantly. Opposing quarterbacks in the NFL complete 56% of their throws against Philadelphia, and it's because they got good corners, active linebackers, and 2 studs on the interior D-line.
Number 2.
Denver, and again, what's the difference between Seattle and Denver? If they played tomorrow, 1.5 points? That's how close this thing is. Listen, 6 of their 7 games have been decided, like the Kansas City game, on a drive. Their offense has been held to 1 touchdown in back-to-back games. But I do believe, and I said it last year with Kansas City, there are teams that are good in close games. Kansas City last year was great in close games. Denver this year is great in close games. I don't think it's like fumbles that it's random. It usually comes down to an elite play designer and play caller and a quarterback who's good late in games on final drives. That was Mahomes last year. That's Bo Nix this year. But they are a heavily penalized team, so they beat themselves. They've got almost 900 penalty yards, and they've trailed in all 11 games. But you are what your record is. They're 2.
Number 1.
The Rams are the cleanest team in the league. Second year in a row, fewest penalties. They don't make any mistakes. They're Seattle without the mistakes. They're Denver without the penalties. So I'm really rewarding them. I don't think they're the most dynamic offense, although I will say Devontae Adams is on a heater. He is on a heater. He has become the touchdown guy, not Puka. So I do think there is value in the Rams not being as flashy or as dynamic as other teams. They don't get penalized.
Okay, there are some issues here. Oh man, he went for it this time. So the 5-5 Baltimore Ravens, who then struggled against Dylan Gabriel and the Cleveland Browns, and then Chador popped in there. Don't get squeamish about that game, but get squeamish about the Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Broncos on the road, the number 2 team in the NFL, to a last-second field goal. No. I mean, think about who the Chiefs lost to on this list. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Broncos. It's gotta count for something. So yeah, I see no strong reason why. If we're gonna put the Chiefs in this top 10 list, so I'm sure there are some people that are like, the Chiefs don't even deserve to be in the top 10. When the way how I do this one is I always just reorganize the teams right here. Just to make it fun, just to make it interesting, rather than because I'm going along with Colin's logic to the best of my abilities, rather than just make my own top 10 list, because I already do stuff like that, and then you have Nick's list. It just gets too repetitive this way. It's just a little bit more fun. I think it's just more interesting. But again, you guys have all the freedom you want to replace and move teams all you want. But if we're going to put the Chiefs in this top 10 list, and we're going to put the Ravens in top 5, all this, I see in no universe where the Chiefs should be behind the 49ers, behind, I mean the Seahawks were number 2. They lose a tough game to the Rams, where Sam Darnold turned the ball over a ton of times, and yet they were in a position to win that game with a couple better plays. They win that game of the on in the final drive and get closer. They kick a game-winning field goal and win the game. So I do not have the Seahawks all the way at 10 and the Rams all the way at 1 either. I just don't see it. The 49ers have been wildly impressive, absolutely undeniably. But it's not like they had their biggest win was against the Los Angeles Rams, and it's just like when they were decimated with injuries. So what does that tell you about the Rams? Is it that the Rams aren't as good as people think? Or is it that the 49ers are even better? Or is it just a tough divisional game? Where we're at. Again, the Bills beat the Chiefs. Have a weird game against the Patriots, who are obviously a good team, but then get blown out by the Dolphins, right? Lose to the Falcons. There's just a lot of ups and downs here. The Colts, it's like, who actually are the Colts? I've said this now over these last couple of days that I was so confident and so firm on saying, I just want to look at this season, and I just want to look at these games week to week and not constantly say, oh, the Colts, what are they going to look like in the playoffs? What are the Patriots going to look into the playoffs? But now that we're starting to get closer to the end of the season, I'm definitely a lot more comfortable having some of those uncomfortable conversations when the Colts were winning 5. whatever the heck their record officially was, 5-1 or 5-0, whatever it is, and the Patriots are winning. I just didn't want to constantly just say, well, I don't know if I'm buying this, or I'm waiting for Daniel Jones to, pumpkin mode. I didn't want to do that. That's not fun to me. That's not interesting to me. But now that we're getting closer and closer and closer, it's like, all right, well, now we need to start to answer these questions. And so I am a lot more willing and more comfortable. I just didn't want to do that in September and October and the beginning of November. It's like, just let's enjoy what we're watching. And that is why it's like, it is going to be fascinating to see the Colts and the Chiefs. That's going to really, really matter to me. I also realize the Lions aren't in there. The Packers aren't in there. Pretty interesting. Colin had the Lions as a top team before. Now I guess they're not. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm failing to see where the Ravens are top 5. The Ravens are ahead of the Bills, ahead of the Chiefs. It's just, the Broncos are number 2. No one's been higher than me on the Broncos. I find someone on TV, randomly on the internet, find someone who's been more consistent and more positive and more of a believer in the Denver Broncos and Sean Payne and Bo Nix, etc. I'm making videos defending Bo Nix with a passer rating of 78 or something, right? Like, no one's been more of a believer in them. Really, go and try to find someone probably more of a believer than That's Good Sports. I don't think they're the second best team in the NFL. I think that's a strong that's a strong ranking for them. Right now, when they struggled to beat the Jets and they struggled to beat the Raiders, and again, I defended them. It was just like, this team is in such trouble, and then they beat the Chiefs at home, which apparently aren't even that good of a team that people are, struggling to accept as even a top 10 team. It's like now they jump to 2, I don't know. I struggled last week with the herd hierarchy, and I'm struggling this week as well. But like a team like the 49ers, they beat the Seahawks in the very first game, 17-13. Kind of a weird game. They beat the Saints. They beat the Cardinals by 1 point. They lost to the Jags. They beat the Rams, which was a crazy game. Great game. They got rocked by the Bucks. They beat the Falcons. They lost to the Texans. They beat the Giants. They got rocked by the Rams, and then they beat the Cardinals. I'm going to put the Seahawks ahead of them. I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of them. I'll put them at 10. I'll put the Ravens at 9. And that's mainly because of my more of my projecting belief in the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And if I'm going to try to really remain firm on trying to not project too far and not trying to rely too heavily on the past, so that way we could, if the Ravens continue to play, it's like, great, we can move them up now, right? Like, there's actually mobility. It's like, I'll put the 49ers at 10. I'll put the Baltimore Ravens at 9. And this is now where it starts to get weird. This could be done so many different ways. I think I then probably put the Colts at 8, the Chiefs at 7, the Bills at 6, the Broncos at 5, the Seahawks at 4, the Rams at 3, the Patriots at 2, and the Eagles at 1. But I could easily rearrange, especially from the Chiefs, down in 18 different directions, because there's things to like and not like about all these teams. The Chiefs have just not been able to win close games. It's a legitimate thing that they're struggling with right now. The Bills, who feels comfortable with that defense? Who feels comfortable with the fact that Josh Allen literally needs to be a superhero just to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? The Broncos, again, awesome game against Kansas City Chiefs. Celebrated it to the absolute max. That offense still needs to be better. No doubt about it. That offense still needs to be better. And just because you beat the Chiefs doesn't mean that all of a sudden now everything is, hunky-dory. The Seahawks, listen, no one has praised and defended Sam Darnold more than anyone out there, even when Colin turned on him. I'm a huge believer in the Seahawks. Their defense has been absolutely elite and spectacular. And you want to see their offense be better against better defenses. And 4 turnovers is jarring against the Los Angeles Rams. Like that is jarring. And do the Rams actually, have something on Sam? That remains to be seen. And my whole thing with the Seahawks and Sam is like, I'm excited to see what Clint Kubiak and McDonald have to help Sam grow and evolve in those moments. So that's like more of a placeholder for me. I think the Rams have been great, but again, same thing. They forced 4 turnovers, and yet they were still in a position to lose that game against the Seattle Seahawks. And like the Seahawks played awesome defense against the Los Angeles Rams. Against them. The toughest games that the Rams have played, they haven't looked great. The toughest games, you weren't like, oh, that's the Rams, baby. That's how great they are. That wasn't my takeaway watching that against the Seahawks. They got rocked in the second half against the Philadelphia Eagles, having 2 blocked field goals, and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown were just, as Colin would say, on a heater. And it's like, there you go with that. And then you lost to M. Jones, the 49ers, in a very questionable game, very questionable play calling, very questionable approach. And so it's just like, it's just where do you stand there? And the Patriots have been awesome. The Patriots have been great. The Patriots have been amazing. Drake May has been playing out of his mind. They also haven't, really their biggest game, their biggest win, their biggest claim to fame was beating the Bills. And it's like the Bills have obviously been inconsistent. The Bills have obviously been wildly inconsistent. And then it was like, okay, but they also beat the Bucks. And it's like, yeah, well, the Bills just absolutely dominated the Bucks as well. It's like people were overvaluing the Bucks. And so you're just kind of like, I don't know what do the Patriots look like against the truly better teams. And the Eagles, they keep winning, but they keep eating out wins. And people will say, well, they lost to the Broncos and this or that. And it's like, yeah, I totally get that. Don't feel super great about the Philadelphia Eagles. Which is why I said, it was really, as soon as I had the Eagles at 1, I was just kind of like, I don't know if the Eagles are 1. I could absolutely, switch them all around right now. It's like you could make the argument that the Rams should be number 1 or that the Patriots could be number 1. But then when I think back to, specifically, I ended up leaving the Eagles at 1 instead of the Rams, because then I think back of how the Eagles played the Rams and I'm just like, And I think the Eagles are better now than they were earlier. Although their O-line obviously is definitely a problem. So, even ranking a team like the Eagles right now will probably be tough because there's the possibility that they take a step back with some of their O-line injuries, only to then ideally for them take a step forward in a month or so, going into the playoffs or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird year. It's a weird year. I think at this point I'm just uncomfortable putting the Chiefs and the Bills so far back, the Ravens ahead of them. For why we're in what belief do we have that they're don't have a pro? I don't have an ultimate problem with putting the Rams at number 1. I'm so fascinated to see what the Seahawks look like against the Rams. I think if you chalk that up to a wonky game for Sam and the Seahawks, that's why a rematch between them is going to be so telling to me, incredibly telling. That will give me so much there. But I think honestly, when it comes down to it, my confidence level going into the playoffs, if you were just like make a top 10 list based solely on your confidence level, it's Eagles, Rams, Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, then you have the Seahawks, Seahawks, 49ers, Ravens, Colts. The 49ers are such a fascinating team because they are getting healthier. We've never seen this team actually healthy playing together at all. The 49ers had been devastating for years. One of the most intimidating teams to go up against. They then had a rocky year and a half stretch because of all their injuries. And watching them in the one game, I think Collinsworth, I think it was against the Bucks, which they ended up losing. When was it Collinsworth? I forget who it was. Might have been against the Falcons, and they were just like, you forget once they kind of get going here, you forget that this is indeed the 49ers, and they start playing 49er football. And it's true, right? Like, this team was one of the most, like, oh my gosh, like, people were genuinely picking the 49ers to win, to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl in 2023. More people were picking the 49ers to win that Super Bowl than the Eagles to win the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs in either of the years, 23 and 22 or 24 for the Eagles. And so that's how much people truly believed in the 49ers. And so it's like, if they've actually returned back to that form, but it's so hard because this team has changed so much. Christian McCaffrey is older, but obviously still playing great right now. Brock Purdy's more experienced, but he's also semi-banged up, kind of getting healthy. Then you have random people that you've not seen together, like Pyle and Jennings, and no Debo, like the no IU. Like, this team has just changed. So you're just like, I don't know really who this team is. We've never really seen them all together. Then key injuries on defense, like the confidence factor for me is just not 100% there quite yet. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'd think you'd have more answers and more confidence as the season goes on, but the way how these games have unfolded again, it's like, how do you make sense of that Rams-Seahawks game where Sam Darnold has 4 interceptions, but then they're 5-10 yards away from making a field goal and winning that game? That's insane to me. That's insane to me. The Eagles keep winning, and 1 minute their offense looks like it's about to take over. The next minute they can't, and their defense is holding teams to, 3 points, 6 points, like 9 points. Like, they're just like, their defense is seemingly unstoppable. The Broncos, like, again, struggling against Justin Fields and Geno Smith, but then making Patrick Mahomes, look like he's seeing ghosts, picking him off like multiple times. Like, I don't know. It's a crazy year, man. Crazy year. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Colin's herd hierarchy? Who would you take out? Who would you put in? How would you rearrange? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment so that you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here. I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.